Testing. 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 What is good, everyone? Eric Oakley of Infinite Disc here. We're in the next part of our Building the Bag series, and we're going to be talking about mid-ranges. Mid-ranges are probably one of the most important discs to line up in your bag. They can offer so many shots. They're great in the open, even better in the woods, and I have a ton to test out today, and I'm super excited. I have a ton of different brands, and we're just going to kind of dive into, what I like in the feel of a mid-range, what I'm looking for in the flight, and pretty much overall just understanding, what I'm going to be using these for. So it's going to be an amazing ride, and I'm ready to dive right in. Let's go. At the gate, we have the Squall from DGA. This is like kind of a faster mid. Could almost be a fairway driver, but to me feels like a mid, and I would use it as a mid if I was going to bag it. Feel-wise, I think the fact that it feels like a fast mid doesn't really intrigue me so far, but let's see how it flies. And that one came out low. Good straight flight. Probably could, if I would have gotten a little bit more air, we could have seen it fly a little better. I'm gonna be looking forward to throwing that one again, but solid so far. Onward. All right, this is to one of the more unique ones. This is the Launch Code. This feels like a pretty stable mid. Feels like more a traditional rock, pretty deep, kind of has a lip, not really a bead, but it feels like a beaded mid. So I'm just kind of throw it and see. This is not necessarily the feel I'm going for. I mean, it's a pretty good flight though. That one I got up in the air a little bit more. That was nice and straight. I was able to hit it pretty hard and I didn't get much turn out of it, but that is it's on the stable side of a mid. I think it was really gonna come down to if I like the feel of that. And personally, I don't, but it's hard to knock that flight. It was nice. Might as well stay in the Launch. So this is the Codex. This one feels more stable. I think it could be that just the plastic's a lot more stiff. This plastic feels really nice though. Like if you're really trying to kind of get a good tack, but not have it be gummy, it's nice. But let's see if it holds up to its counterpart in the Code. All right, here we go. That one definitely flipped up more. That came out early like the Squall. I think I need to kind of slow my body down, get the discs up. I'm gonna have to hit those again, but that's why we're out here. We're hitting them again. All right. Prodigy M4. This is probably one of the mids that I've watched other people throw and throw really, really well. Kind of one of those silky, buttery, like kind of flip up mids. I'm gonna love to try this one out on a couple forehands as well. Got the 400G plastic. Nice and grippy. All right, throw it in the air. That's much better. That's a straight disc, holy cow. I mean, I kind of expected a little more play, a little more turn, but it's hard to deny that that was, nice and smooth and easy to stay dead straight. So again, I'm gonna really want to test that one on some forehands as well to see how the Prodigy M4 stacks up. Ooh, holy cow. Hey, look at that. Hey, look at the difference. Like there's this big craziness. MVP and Axiom just killing it. All right, so we got the Hex. This is another straight mid. I would assume that this is gonna fly pretty similar to that M4. Should be able to hit it nice and smooth again, give it some air time to really watch it fly. feels, you know, 5 is a faster mid. Feels nice. See how she does. We definitely threw it higher. I mean, just straight. Like I threw that like even slightly nose up, but it just stayed straight the whole time. Had this nice floaty feel. Like that's a good mid. It's a really good mid. Feels good too. If you're like the beadless, kind of on the shallow, faster mid, Hex is quite good. So we have the Axiom Disc Paradox. I've heard this one is incredibly understable, but how could I pass up a disc that looks this cool to not want to give it a rip? So I know this is one that is going to be difficult to stay straight, but this is going to have a very unique flight where it's going to be on that understable. So it's more like a utility disc, but we're going to hit it hard with some hyzer, try and give it some height to see the whole flight. Oh my God, that thing is so flippy. Well, she's understable. Probably not something that I'm gonna need, but I'm gonna give it one more try where I don't hit it as hard, because I put some good power into that, and maybe that's a disc that doesn't want that much power. So again, doesn't feel like it has a slot in my bag, but that's just one throw. So let's give it another go and see how it flies. So on to a mid that I know well, the EMAC Truth. It would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't go out and rip on an EMAC Truth. Great throwers, easy to understand, good feel in the hand, good glide. You know, has the similar, you know, concept of the Squall where it goes really far for what could be considered a mid, but quality. I know how these fly. It's gonna hit it smooth, let it rip. Just so fast. That was nice. That was really, really nice. EMAC Truth. It's a good disc. It's a really good mid. I don't know, I think there's a good chance that I might be moving away because I've been throwing some other mids that I really like, but the EMAC Truth will always have, you know, at least an option to be in my bag, because I know I can always go to an EMAC Truth and use it. And a disc that kind of feels very similar, we're going to talk about the Buzz SS, Tim Barham, one of my favorite dudes. But this feels very, very similar in feel, and I would assume it's going to be pretty similar in flight. Where the EMAC Truth might be a tick more stable, so it's going to be kind of, I feel like the EMAC lands between the Buzz SS and the Buzz, and there's not much between those two, but really, really nice. So definitely, this is a really great mid if you're looking for nice and straight. So see how it flies. Ooh, that flip up is nice. SS, super straight. Timmy B's got his name on a really, really good mid. I'm gonna be looking forward to bagging that more and getting out to some courses to really test that one, but we're gonna throw it some more today. Might even try it for some forehands. Could be sweet.
How would you compare that between like an EMAC and a Claymore?
In between. It lands in between, like, yeah, so if they're like, there's not much between the two, but it's like, we're talking all these like kind of small spots where you see it happen. Speaking of like stable to, you know, kind of neutral flying, we got the Alpha Disc Apollo. This is a really, really great feeling plastic, micro bead, like mid-range. It's like a unique shape, but it's like, it doesn't feel bad in the hand. So it's all going to be about how it comes out of my hand and how it flies after the fact. I have a feeling this is going to be a great stable thrower, nice and straight, be able to put some power on it and not lose it. So as a mid goes, it's pretty solid. It's made in Norway too, which is really cool to see. Just straight. Like as an arrow. That was so straight. That was kind of crazy. I felt like I could have got it up a little bit higher, but still, I put a lot of power into that, and we were just able to watch it never really move off the line. So that's a really good sign for a very solid mid-range, because say I had to hit a gap that distance, it didn't move. Wasn't leaning or drifting or hyzering into any trees. Apollo's pretty solid. Okay. This is the fun part, because I feel like I'm going to butcher all of the RPM disc names, and I'm really sorry, RPM. Kotuku I think is right. So this feels a little more stable as a mid. This feels like your traditional, if you're like a rock thrower. This is going to be a mid you might want to give a try. It's got more of a lip than a bead. Maybe it does have a micro bead, but if it's like, feels more like a lip. Feels nice. Again, it just feels like it's going to be stable, maybe even on the overstable side, but we'll see. Oh, she is overstable. That's nice. I mean, that's the first of the mids that we've thrown so far that have actually felt on the more stable side. Everything else we've thrown has been, okay, more overstable side. So to the technical terms, like most of this that we've been throwing have been very stable outside of the paradox. So it's been really easy to see how they fly, but that Kotuku was very overstable. So it's a great disc that complements, it almost fits a different mid slot than a lot of the other mids that I've thrown so far. So I'm excited to test it against, kind of some of the more stable discs that I'm looking at.
How would you compare the Kotuku to something like the Justice or Verdict?
More
both of those names, because I don't know if the camera can hear me.
So compared to like, it's not like a Justice at all when it comes to overstability, more like a Verdict, but felt slower than a Verdict. So more like Rock X3, if you will, but maybe not as overstable. I've seen some of those thrown and they look pretty wildly overstable. So it's going to be in that slot where the Kotuku offers a really nice overstable mid. Plus, that's the type of mid that as it beats up, probably gets nice and juicy and starts to fly really, really straight. So we got probably one of the most talked about mids on the market, the Discraft Buzz. I've put some time in with this and I'm really liking it as a, kind of do-it-all mid-range. Don't know if I'm in love with it, but I have some other options that fly similarly that I'm actually I'm liking more, where I was actually expecting the Buzz to be, in my initial throws, a little bit straighter. And it's actually, this run in particular is a little more stable. So maybe it's a different plastic that I'm looking for, but at the same time, it's hard to go wrong with this disc. You can get it in any plastic and know that it's going to be a great thrower. So I don't really need to sell you on this. Get yourself a Buzz if you're looking for it, and I'll just let it fly to see exactly what you're looking for. I put that on a lot of hyzer, but it didn't dump. It kept flying. It's really nice. I'm gonna need to throw that one again just to give it some more, to do it full justice, even though it's a Buzz. It's like, if you bag a Buzz, you're good. Like, it's fine. Like, you're not gonna be mad about bagging a Buzz. It's just one of those mids that there are a lot of mids like it, but the Buzz might be the best at doing it. So it's just about if you want to try something else out. But definitely, Discraft Buzz, super good. Onto the first infinite mold we're gonna review in the mids. This is the Anubis. Super neutral, great glide. I think what I've liked this one as is like, it's similar to a Claymore in a way, but I think throws better on a backhand, where the Claymore might be better for my forehand. But this is also super clean on a forehand, but it's just like one of the more neutral flying discs. It kind of holds whatever angle you put it on. So this is a great disc as, am I good? If I'm good, this is great for me. if I'm not throwing a good clean angles, it's going to show you. So it's a great teacher disc. It's a great disc when you're feeling it and you're vibing. It's going to be a perfect option. So just let it rip. I got that one up a little bit, just so neutral. That was a little nose up, but that's still all right. Again, we're not seeing a whole lot of bite, not a whole lot of fight. I feel like if I get that one a little bit lower and flatter, it's going to be money. Anubis. So another Discraft legend is the Comet. I've watched Michael Joe or Chandler Fry throw this thing like absolute geniuses. Even Brian Earhart makes this disc look super good. Feels weird. In my opinion, it feels weird. But the moment I think you get past that, it's more the traditional old school Frisbee, early on discs, how they feel, because I feel like the Comet's definitely an ancient mold. It's got really curved rim with a nice prominent bead. Flight-wise, I know these things fly good, so it's just about kind of trusting it. This should be pretty neutral, but I might actually get some play and get this thing to turn up some. Got another Prodigy mold. We got the M3. This is a Heather Young edition. What's HY stand for? Heather Young. I've watched Chris Dickerson throw an M3 super well. Watched Kevin Jones throw an M3 super well. It's in those molds that feels, again, this is a lip, not a bead type of mid. Should be nice and straight. Should be whatever angle I put it on and just kind of let it rip. Whenever I was would mess around and steal it out of Chris's bag to throw every once in a while. Kind of reminded me of just a different feeling EMAC Truth, but very similar in flight. All hyzer, whole way, but not dumping. I mean, that's just nice. Like, again, we're talking about, that's why I love mids. It's like, I don't even feel like I'm throwing some of these that clean, but they're just working. They're neutral, and they allow you to kind of shape these shots. So it's like, work with your mids. Lesson over. M3, super nice, was on hyzer the whole time, but was never dumping out. Was never like flipping up or doing anything crazy. So it was like wanting to fly. And that's a really good concept in a mid. So another one that I'm looking forward to throwing a little more. The Discmania MD3, this is the reinvented one, made in Sweden with the Italian plastic. It feels really good. Feels like they added a little micro bead on the bottom, but it might not even be a micro bead, it's just like a micro lip. Again, feels really good. This should be another, in that same realm of nice dead straight type of mid. Should be able to handle a lot of power. Just let it fly. Let's hit it. That was more stable than I thought. Again, that was low release, but I felt like I saw a little more bite out of that. I'm gonna be excited to throw that one nice and flat to see how long it holds straight before we get that energy left at the end, because that's another option that could fill that more stable slot like the Kotuku was. We'll see. So we got the Griffin. This thing is crazy. I think this is from Divergent. Alex 2's Griffin, so sick. This almost feels like a really slow mid. I would almost put I thought this was a putter the first time I put it in my hand, but it's actually a mid-range. So it's a small diameter mid as well. Should be very, very neutral, dead straight, kind of similar to Anubis, but has that more, I guess I'd really want to call it old school, where it kind of curves under on the bottom side of the disc, where you saw that a lot with early disc technology. So this disc feels like it's older than it actually is, but feels and flies pretty sweet. So let's see it. Ooh, it's definitely neutral, but I feel like that one's gonna fly a little better with a little less power, similar to the Paradox. It's gonna be fun. It's fun to test out. All right, on to another RPM. All right, so I gotta be very careful. Piwakawaka. This is really nice. Again, this feels like on the straighter side, more neutral flying mids. Plastic feels really good. I like this kind of glow feel and grip. Depth is really nice too. Ooh, that flipped a lot more. So Piwakawaka, note to self and to you guys, give it air. I think it's another one of those similar to Paradox and the Griffin, where I'm gonna wanna really kind of maybe power down on it to keep it straight, or see how it flies when we give it a little more airtime. Can be fun to throw. Next up, Mustang from Mint Discs. This feels, again, this is in that same realm of buzz, you know, Pathfinder, EMAC Truth, Buzz SS, type mid, maybe even, I guess this, like, I don't think Innova really has much like a Mako 3, but the Mako's not overstable enough. So this feels, could be more like an MD3 type mid. Feels really good. Plastic's awesome. Comfortable. That's what I would qualify it as. See how it flies. And that didn't move on the line.
So straight.
Straight as an arrow. How was baby hyzer release? Maybe I kind of pulled up on it, but it didn't really want to pull over. It was really, really effortlessly straight. Felt fast, like fast enough, but not like too fast. Mustang's good. Mustang's good. So we got Infinite's other awesome mid in the Chariot. This thing is probably a fan favorite. Really, really comfortable to throw. Feels great in the hand. If you're a fan of like an MD3 or something like that, the Chariot is absolute money. This is, again, I feel like this is the type of disc that if you like a rock but don't like the bead, the Chariot is the perfect disc for you. It's gonna have a very similar flight, but just, you know, just flies a little bit better in the beadless category, if you will. So, Chariot. Not getting a good clean release on that Chariot right now, but I feel like it's definitely a mid that once I understand how it feels and how it releases from my hand, it's gonna be really, really unique. I'm looking forward to throwing that one more and getting a really good clean throw on it, but maybe it's just the feel in my hand is not what I need to throw well. We'll find out. We gotta give it a couple more throws to really test it out. On to one of my favorites, the Opto Claymore. I love the Claymore, mostly for forehands, but as a backhand disc, it is really, really clean. You know, flies. It was the perfect complement to my EMAC Truth, and is going to be a perfect complement probably to whatever straight to, and stable mid I end up throwing as options. In the building the bag, you know this one's staying in, but let's see how it flies on a backhand. I'm going to try and get it up, give it some air, let it fly. That's Claymore right there. Look at that. Ooh! So good. Claymore pays more. Thought Space Athletics Pathfinder. I can't tell you guys enough how much I've been loving this mid. This mid is exciting. This is, you know, I think feel-wise, exactly what I was looking for when I wanted a nice, straight, and do-it-all mid-range. where you'd argue that it's very similar to a buzz. For me, the buzz is a little bit deeper. And I'm not coming from EMAC Truce and Claymores. They're a little bit more shallow. So the Pathfinder fits that feel a little better for me. So as the feel goes, Pathfinder's a win. And I've been throwing it a bunch, so I already know it's good. So let me just show you how good it is. Oh, frozen rope. Just baby hyzer the whole time. Duh. Super duh. One thing that I have noticed in my time in using it is it's also super good with less power. So I like it on a fan grip. I like it power grip, like 70% and all the way up to 100%. Pathfinder is so sick. As an MVP disc, this is one I heard a ton about, is the Reactor. This mid feels really, really good. It feels like it's gonna complement, you know, a Pathfinder, a Claymore super, super well, if it's stable. So this I feel like is, from what I've heard and what people have told me, this is gonna fill into that slot of, you know, not a Justice, but more like a Verdict, or more of that overstable mid that flies. So I'm gonna be able to throw this very similarly to a Pathfinder or something like that, or a Chariot, or whatever I end up bagging, and letting it kind of work left for me, rather than trying to force a straighter mid to kind of get left. Let's see how it flies. That's the late bite I was hoping for. Yes. So that I threw like a little more flat, but it still had that bite and swing. So I know if I push that on hyzer, it's going to be holding that hyzer and working left actively the whole time it's flying. I can't wait to throw that one more. All right, this that I'm 100% in on, Thought Space Athletics Pathfinder, MVP Reactor. I want to try a forehand with the M4. I'm good on the code. EMAC Truth is one that I've thrown enough that I know what it does. It's just going to be at the ready. Got to throw the buzz again. Sorry, Discraft. The Griffin and the Paradox aren't discs that I necessarily need, but again, I really highly suggest them. Same thing goes for the Codex and the Comet. These are awesome discs if you're looking to try some different things out. Piwakawaka, same concept, easy to throw. Those are probably, I would say, minus the Codex, these are amazing discs if you're just starting out. Grab any one of these, Paradox, Griffin, Comet, Piwakawaka, awesome. Anubis is gonna get thrown on a forehand for sure. Simi B, forehand. Claymore, forehand. I'll give a Chariot another throw. Squall, I'm good. Hex, definitely wanna test again. We'll give the M3 one more throw. Kotuku, I'm good on the Mustang. Good there, and there. That's perfect. Let's go hit a couple sidearms, couple backhands. We're gonna wrap this up. Feel like I'm pretty much getting to that point where I know my mids, so let's go. Forehand, the Claymore is what is already gonna be in the bag. It's just what I've used for so long, so I'll just show you why. Just effortless, easy. Didn't even get that one out super clean, and it just flew so nice. Definitely wanted to see how this Tim Barham Buzz SS flew similar. It just doesn't forehand very good. Sorry, Timmy B. Claymore's winning right now. Anubis. I felt like I was doing that a lot with the Anubis, is that it felt like it's just deeper than a Claymore, so it's hard to get that release out of my hand. So it feels awkward. All right, M4. Put some more time in with the N4. Trying to find a way in the bag. It would definitely be for a forehand. All right, so we know the Claymore's making the bag. Easy win. That disc is great for forehands, and if you saw today, flies like just as good on a backhand, super, super good. Kind of a newer slot that'll be added will be the reactor and what it's going to fill in that overstable option, you know, but still flies. So it's, again, I can power it down probably on a fairway if I want to get a little bit more overstable flight if I need something more and not like a Justice, but definitely reactor complements this disc. Thought Space Athletics Pathfinder complements this disc perfectly. So these two discs, I feel like similar feel, but two different flights, and that's exactly what I was looking for when I was picking my mids. The other part about the Pathfinder is that having one of these that's a little more seasoned and one of these a little more new is exactly how I'm going to want my bag. I could even see myself bagging 3 of these with one new, one seasoned, one super beat up to offer 3 totally different shots. Pathfinder has really opened up and made me feel super confident in my mid game. 2 really good honorable mentions, I would say, Prodigy M4 and the Axiom Hex. I was super surprised. This flew great on a forehand, as if I didn't have a Claymore, I'd probably consider this. So definitely looking to try this out a little bit more. It feels like I have to try a little bit harder on the forehand, but maybe means I can put a little more power on it. So it might open up a different shot. But you know, if I'm ever looking for something that's not a Claymore, definitely be looking to try out Prodigy M4. But then the Hex itself was super unique, went super far, great mid. This is a great mid for all, so definitely check them out as well. Great stuff. So if you haven't checked out the other parts where we had putting putters, throwing putters, approach this, now we're at mids. We are going to be starting the slower fairways. So we're going to do a 7-speed fairway, and we're going to go on to, you know, the 9+ fairways, and then we're going to wrap it up with some distance drivers. So we have a lot coming with this building the bag. It'll all culminate into a in the bag before the season starts. So I am so excited about all of this. I'm ready to start throwing some fairway drivers, so make sure you tune into the next one. Go check out the others. Go to infinitedisc.com. Throw what you love. Elevate your game with, and elevate your mind with Thought Space. Keep being awesome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Cheers.